Language Foundations Vocabulary Flashcards, helping you achieve understanding.
Present reasons and arguments. A rational motive for a belief or action. The reason that war was declared. The state of having good sense and sound judgment. He had to rely less on reason than on rousing their emotions. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. We reasoned that it was cheaper to rent than to buy a house. The capacity for rational thought or inference or discrimination. We are told that man is endowed with reason and capable of distinguishing good from evil. A justification for something existing or happening. They had good reason to rejoice. A fact that logically justifies some premise or conclusion. There is reason to believe he is lying. An explanation of the cause of some phenomenon. The reason a steady state was never reached was that the back pressure built up too slowly. Think logically. The children must learn to reason. Present reasons and arguments. Have an argument about something. Give evidence of. The evidence argues for your claim. Material in the top layer of the surface of the earth in which plants can grow, especially with reference to its quality or use. The part of a scene, or picture, that lies behind objects in the foreground. He posed her against a background of rolling hills. A rational motive for a belief or action. The grounds for their declaration. Hit or reach the ground. A relation that provides the foundation for something. Cover with a primer. Apply a primer to. A connection between an electrical device and a large conducting body, such as the Earth, which is taken to be at zero voltage. Fix firmly and stably. Use as a basis for, found on. Bring to the ground. The storm grounded the ship. The solid part of the Earth's surface. He dropped the logs on the ground. The loose soft material that makes up a large part of the land surface. The first or preliminary coat of paint or size applied to a surface. A position to be won or defended in battle, or as if in battle. They gained ground step by step. A relatively homogeneous percept extending back of the figure on which attention is focused. Art. The surface, as a wall or canvas, prepared to take the paint for a painting. Confine or restrict to the ground. After the accident, they grounded the plane and the pilot. Connect to a ground. Ground the electrical connections for safety reasons. Hit a ground ball. He grounded to the second baseman. Hit onto the ground. Instruct someone in the fundamentals of a subject. Place or put on the ground. Throw to the ground in order to stop play and avoid being tackled behind the line of scrimmage. The quality of being consistent with or based on logic. The state of having good sense and sound judgment. His rationality may have been impaired. The state of having good sense and sound judgment. The quality of being plausible or acceptable to a reasonable person. The property of being moderate in price or expenditures. The store is famous for the reasonableness of its prices. Goodness of reason and judgment. The judiciary is built on the reasonableness of judges. Moderation in expectations. Without greater reasonableness by both parties, we will never settle this matter. Come to a close. Reach a conclusion after a discussion or deliberation. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. Bring to a close. The committee concluded the meeting. Reach agreement on. They concluded an economic agreement. Decide by reasoning. Draw or come to a conclusion. Knowledge and intellectual ability. He has a keen intellect. A person who uses the mind creatively. The capacity for rational thought or inference or discrimination. The statement, oral or written, of an exchange of promises. There was an understanding between management and the workers. The capacity for rational thought or inference or discrimination. An inclination to support or be loyal to or to agree with an opinion. I knew I could count on his understanding. The cognitive condition of someone who understands. He has virtually no understanding of social cause and effect. Characterized by understanding based on comprehension and discernment and empathy. An understanding friend. Any entity that produces an effect or is responsible for events or results. Give rise to. Cause to happen or occur, not always intentionally. Cause a commotion. A comprehensive term for any proceeding in a court of law whereby an individual seeks a legal remedy. Cause to do. Cause to act in a specified manner. A series of actions advancing a principle or tending toward a particular end. They worked in the cause of world peace. A justification for something existing or happening. He had no cause to complain. Events that provide the generative force that is the origin of something. They are trying to determine the cause of the crash. Your basis for belief or disbelief. Knowledge on which to base belief. A justification for something existing or happening. The enclosed land around a house or other building. A tract of land cleared for some special purposes, recreation or burial, etc. Dregs consisting of solid particles, especially of coffee, that form a residue. It is a Middle Eastern custom to read your future in your coffee grounds. Perform, a play, especially on a stage. Form or compose. This sum represents my entire income for a year. Express indirectly by an image, form, or model. Be a symbol. Take the place of or be parallel or equivalent to. Be characteristic of. To establish a mapping, of mathematical elements or sets. Be the defense counsel for someone in a trial. Ms. Smith will represent the defendant. Bring forward and present to the mind. We cannot represent this knowledge to our formal reason. Create an image or likeness of. The painter represented his wife as a young girl. Play a role or part. Be a delegate or spokesperson for. Represent somebody's interest or be a proxy or substitute for, as of politicians and office holders representing their constituents, or of a tenant representing other tenants in a housing dispute. I represent the silent majority. Be representative or typical for. This period is represented by Beethoven. Describe or present, usually with respect to a particular quality. He represented this book as an example of the Russian 19th-century novel. Point out or draw attention to in protest or remonstrance. Our parents represented to us the need for more caution. Serve as a means of expressing something. The flower represents a young girl. Perform, a play, especially on a stage. The period of time that is happening now. Any continuous stretch of time including the moment of speech. That is enough for the present. Give, especially as an honor or reward. Introduce. A verb tense that expresses actions or states at the time of speaking. Represent abstractly, for example in a painting, drawing, or sculpture. Hand over formally. Deliver, a speech, oration, or idea. The commencement speaker presented a forceful speech that impressed the students. Give an exhibition of to an interested audience. Cause to come to know personally. Give as a present. Make a gift of. Bring forward and present to the mind. We presented the arguments to him. Recognize with a gesture prescribed by a military regulation. Assume a prescribed position. Present somebody with something, usually to accuse or criticize. Being or existing in a specified place. The murderer is present in this room. Formally present a debutante, a representative of a country, etc. Something presented as a gift. His tie was a present from his wife. Temporal sense. Intermediate between past and future. Now existing or happening or in consideration. The present leader. Get ready for a particular purpose or event. Lay out the tools for the surgery. Bring forward and present to the mind. Lay out orderly or logically in a line or as if in a line. Lay out the clothes. Provide a detailed plan or design. Spend or invest. Lay out thousands on gold. A motive that can be defended by reasoning or logical argument. Normal or sound powers of mind. Normal or sound powers of mind. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Consider carefully and deeply. Reflect upon. Turn over in one's mind. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. Judge or regard. Look upon, judge. I think he is very smart. Recall knowledge from memory. Have a recollection. I can't think what her last name was. Have in mind as a purpose. She didn't think to harm me. Expect, believe, or suppose. He didn't think to find her in the kitchen. Use or exercise the mind or one's power of reason in order to make inferences, decisions, or arrive at a solution or judgments. I've been thinking all day and getting nowhere. An instance of deliberate thinking. I need to give it a good think. Bring into a given condition by mental preoccupation. Decide by pondering, reasoning, or reflecting. Can you think what to do next? Dispose the mind in a certain way. Do you really think so? Focus one's attention on a certain state. Think thin. have or formulate in the mind. Think good thoughts. Imagine or visualize. Just think you could be rich one day. Ponder, reflect on, or reason about. Be capable of conscious thought. Man is the only creature that thinks. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. A self-contained component, unit or item, that is used in combination with other components. Computer circuit consisting of an assembly of electronic components, as of computer hardware. Detachable compartment of a spacecraft. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. The body of teachers and administrators at a school. One of the inherent cognitive or perceptual powers of the mind. A statement in explanation of some action or belief. Something, such as a fact or circumstance, that shows an action to be reasonable or necessary. He considered misrule a justification for revolution. The act of defending or explaining or making excuses for by reasoning. The justification of barbarous means by holy ends. A concept whose truth can be proved. Scientific hypotheses are not facts. An event known to have happened or something known to have existed. Your fears have no basis in fact. A piece of information about circumstances that exist or events that have occurred. First you must collect all the facts of the case. A statement or assertion of verified information about something that is the case or has happened. He supported his argument with an impressive array of facts. A statement that makes something comprehensible by describing the relevant structure or operation or circumstances, etc. The explanation was very simple. The act of explaining, making something plain or intelligible. I heard his explanation of the accident. Thought that makes something comprehensible. An itemized statement of money owed for goods shipped or services rendered. Send me an account of what I owe. A record or narrative description of past events. He gave an inaccurate account of the plot to kill the president. Grounds. Don't do it on my account. To give an account or representation of in words. A statement of recent transactions and the resulting balance. They send me an accounting every month. The act of informing by verbal report. By all accounts they were a happy couple. Keep an account of. A formal contractual relationship established to provide for regular banking or brokerage or business services. He asked to see the executive who handled his account. A statement that makes something comprehensible by describing the relevant structure or operation or circumstances, etc. I expected a brief account. A short account of the news. The account of his speech that was given on the evening news made the governor furious. Furnish a justifying analysis or explanation. I can't account for the missing money. Be the sole or primary factor in the existence, acquisition, supply, or disposal of something. Passing grades account for half of the grades given in this exam. Importance or value. A person of considerable account. The quality of taking advantage. She turned her writing skills to good account. Argue or speak in defense of. State or assert. Protect against a challenge or attack. Be the defense counsel for someone in a trial. Ms. Smith will represent the defendant. Protect or fight for as a champion. Fight against or resist strongly. Be on the defensive. Act against an attack. Reason with somebody, for the purpose of dissuasion. Argue or speak in defense of. Financial resources provided to make some project possible. The foundation provided support for the experiment. Argue or speak in defense of. She supported the motion to strike. Put up with something or somebody unpleasant. A military operation, often involving new supplies of men and materiel, to strengthen a military force or aid in the performance of its mission. They called for artillery support. Be the physical support of, carry the weight of. He supported me with one hand while I balanced on the beam. Adopt as a belief. The financial means whereby one lives. He applied to the state for support. A musical part, vocal or instrumental, that supports or provides background for other musical parts. The act of bearing the weight of or strengthening. He leaned against the wall for support. Be a regular customer or client of. Documentary validation. The strongest support for this view is the work of Jones. Establish or strengthen as with new evidence or facts. The evidence supports the defendant. Be behind. Approve of. Support with evidence or authority or make more certain or confirm. Give moral or psychological support, aid, or courage to. She supported him during the illness. Aiding the cause or policy or interests of. The president no longer has the support of his own party. Any device that bears the weight of another thing. There was no place to attach supports for a shelf. Play a subordinate role to another performer. Olivier supported Gielgud beautifully in the second act. Something providing immaterial assistance to a person or cause or interest. The policy found little public support. Supporting structure that holds up or provides a foundation. The statue stood on a marble support. Support materially or financially. He does not support his natural children. The activity of providing for or maintaining by supplying with money or necessities. His support kept the family together.
Become our student and get access to effective and free educational materials. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to become a part of our growing YouTube community and to learn English effectively.